Yes, guys, come on, guys, come on. What a victory for South Africa today. I am buzzing. Another close game, another close victory, playing under pressure and doing well. But the game almost ran away with us. We were in a very difficult spot there towards the end, leading up to the final 2 overs. We were in a very difficult spot, and two players stepped up. Two players stepped up with the ball today. That at the end, penultimate over and the final over, to bring us a victory. And it wasn't two players that we would have expected to do so. And the one player that we really wanted to see play, and the one player that we really counted on as our death bowler, let us down a little bit today, particularly in that his final over that he bowled in today's game. But this stream, I'm going to try not to be too negative on this stream. I'm absolutely ecstatic about this victory because it's England and beating England in a knockout game. I'm not in a knockout game, but in the knockout stages of the tournament, you can say. It is the Super Eights, and it's must-win games all around over here, particularly when you have a team like England that are used to these situations, that are used to difficult periods, they're used to playing under pressure in big tournaments. And South Africa came out on top. And despite the pressure on us, despite the need for the victory, South Africa withheld the. They saw through the pressure, they fought through the pressure, and they managed to get a victory over the line. And I am exceptionally happy and proud of these boys for what they did today. Yes, of course, there's going to be talking points. There's going to be some negatives. There's going to be some criticism. That is normal for any cricket game that we do cover. And we are going to touch on them. And when I say touch on it, I mean touch very lightly on it, because I think that this team needs to get a lot of praise for this victory, about the way they performed as a team today. I think they came together, the way they fielded today, besides the one drop catch that we had. I think the way the energy in the field, all of those things, I think, were brilliant from South Africa's standpoint. And I'm extremely happy with the way we approached this. I'm extremely happy with the way we played today. And yes, like I said, there are going to be certain points, certain parts of the game where we can talk about, from a negative standpoint, perhaps. We can talk about it from an improvement factor that we can improve on for the next game. But I think South Africa at the moment is peaking at the brilliant time. They're peaking currently at the perfect time. And I think we are in a situation where we can continue this momentum and continue going and pushing forward until we can get out into those knockout phases. So today is going to be a lot of conversation about this. It is also a call-in show, so you guys can click on the link a little bit later if you want to call in and have your say. We're going to keep it down to like 4 minutes tops for each person. I don't, because I still want to get across and go watch the Netherlands versus France match, because I am a big Dutch fan when it comes to football. So yeah, I'm going to try and get to as many calls as possible and many comments as possible, because at the end of the day, this is your show. But before we get going, before we get started, please subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell for full future video. We're on the road for 5,000 subscribers, and we are not far away. So please go ahead and go get that subscribe button hit if you are new to this channel and you haven't done so yet. We also need you to smash that like button, comment, and share as well. It's very important that you guys do so. It's how we keep relevant on YouTube, stay relevant on YouTube, and get into people's recommended feeds. So please go ahead and do so for me as well. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. I am very much looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say in the live chat, and I'm really looking forward to discussing this game with you guys. A very good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your review show. I'm your host, Khalid Moedin, and this is the show where we talk about everything that has to do with South Africa versus England in the T20 World Cup Super 8 stage. What a victory for South Africa today, a 7-run victory. It was a great match from a spectator's perspective. I think nervy for us as South Africans, of course, right until the end, but there are important positives to talk about, and I want to focus on the positives first and foremost on in this game. Let's start with the toss. Okay, South Africa lost the toss today, and it was something that you always want to try and win a toss in these difficult situations. But we lost two tosses now in a row, and we were put into bat first, and I was quite happy with that with that outcome, because I mean chasing on a slower wicket is quite difficult, but this wicket has proven to be a pitch where some people have found it quite comfortable to be able to chase. So England also finding it a little bit difficult actually in this particular game. But I mean, the other games played on this particular pitch were day-night games and not day games. So that, I think, maybe that played a little bit of a part in the how difficult it was to bat for certain players. I think a lot of the batters today struggled to time the ball, but not Quinton de Kock. And this is the reason why you back a player like Quinton de Kock, and you back him through difficult periods. It is easier to back players when you are still winning games with bad performances from certain players. So South Africa have gone through the group stages with all their batters, top orders really struggling, and managing to win games and get over the line with their bowlers by defending low totals. And South Africa managed to get through those group stages with players not performing well. So now when you get and you back those players and they start to find their form at the right time, which is now, you get results like this, where you see Quinton de Kock scoring 65 of 38 balls at a strike rate of 171.05. Four fours, four sixes. Quinton was absolutely fantastic today, and he needs to get 100% credit for that. He needs to be um, congratulated for that. He needs to be celebrated for that. He was very good today, and he was very controlled in basically every aspect of his game. He ran well between the wickets. He hit boundaries when you needed to. He kept the pressure on England in the first couple of overs, and he managed to still do what he was doing, even though his partner was struggling on the other end. Now Riza was struggling again today. He wasn't timing the ball very well. He was struggling to get into his stride over here. But I feel that this game would have done well for him, and done a world of good for him, and for the next game that we play on in these conditions. It was a bit disappointing from that perspective, from a Riza Hendricks perspective, but I'm sure you will come good very soon. Andy Klaasen was run out. It was a terrible call from David Miller. Knowing that Josh Butler is as good behind the stumps as he is, we know that he's done that many times before, where he's run out bowlers ran out batters at the bowler's end, and he did that again. He did that again today against Andy Klaasen, as Andy Klaasen was trying to he was also struggling to get his eye in and trying to find a little bit of uh, leeway for himself to move around and be aggressive. We brought him into the situation, and I think the strategy there was the fact that he has a really good record against spin. He averages over 55 against spin, and I think that was the mentality, knowing that England were going to bowl their spinners in that period of the game. And I thought that they were going. That's the reason why they put Handy Klaasen in over there. But what happened over there is that Andy Klaasen came in, and the spinners didn't really have many overs still left to go, and he didn't have much time to still get his eye in, and he didn't really manage to get the ball away and to score freely, and he ended up losing his wicket through a run out, but not he didn't get himself going at all. Then David Miller came to the crease. David Miller, I think, was excellent. I mean, because Heinrich lost his wicket in the 14th over on 103. South Africa were, and they were down 103 for three. And generally speaking, you do seem to, when one wicket falls at a crucial part of the game, another wicket falls shortly after. That's kind of the trend and pattern when it comes to cricket. And that happened again, of course, today when Quinton de Kock lost his wicket in the 12th over. The last ball of the 12th over to 92 for two at that stage. And then Heinrich Klaassen, just a couple of overs later, in the 14th over, 103 for three. And then Aiden Markram shortly after that, just an over later, 113 for four we were. And then South Africa were in a difficult period of the match. We were looking like we weren't going to post a defendable score. But then David Miller did it again. David Miller stepped up. He took the game by the scruff of the neck. He took the authority in the game, and he took the leadership role and batted amazingly. 43 of 28 balls. He scored four fours and two sixes, had a strike rate of 153.57. He was absolutely fantastic in the way he approached it, I feel. Yes, perhaps we would have liked him to stay there right until the end, but unfortunately he didn't. He too lost his wicket trying to go for a little bit more, but he at least got us past the 150 run mark. He went out with us on 155 in the last over. So that was a little bit of a shame. We would have liked him to face all of those balls in those final overs. But Stubbs did enough, and Keshav Maharaj did enough together to edge us to 163 for six, I would say. And we were, I would say, satisfied. That wicket looked like more of a 178, 180 pitch if you had to look at it before the game. But it did seem to be a little bit slower than what was expected. And a lot of the batters struggled, including England's batters. With this bowling attack, you would back yourself against any score, and that has been proven so far in this World Cup. And today, South Africa proved that again. They were very, very good up top. They had England 61 for four by 10.2 overs, which was a brilliant, brilliant performance to keep England at bay. They kept England behind the run rate and required run rate, and behind South Africa. What South Africa's run rate was, they kept them behind South Africa's worm, and that was the trick of a year. I think Marco Jansen bowled brilliantly up top. I think that Kagiso Rabada bowled brilliantly up top, and I think that Othniel Batman bowled brilliantly as well up top. But I think the key player for us today was with the ball was Keshav Maharaj, and I also think that Aiden Markram bowling that one over was crucial. I would have liked to maybe bowl one more over. I think that would have made things a little bit harder for England. Instead of us bowling the two seamers in over 15 and 16, I think I might have gone with another over from Aiden Markram in that stage, and just keep the pressure on, because I feel those two overs over there were crucial. But we'll get to that. Keshav Maharaj took 2 for 25, economy of 6.25, best bowler today for South Africa. Really was pivotal. He took Josh Butler's wicket and Johnny Bairstow's wicket at crucial times in the game. And those are two very dangerous players. And it was a brilliant performance. And then Batman bowled really well until his third over. He was excellent. He even took the wicket of Moeen Ali. And Moeen Ali is a destructive batter that we know can do wonders. You know, when I saw Harry Brook come out to the middle and I saw he was on the team sheet, I just had a feeling that out of all the world-class players that they have in this team, all of the top order, the strong top order that they have, I just had a feeling Harry Brook was going to do something today. And he did. 53 of 37 balls, 7 fours, 143 strike rate. Liam Livingston, brilliant, 33 of 17, 194 strike rate, 3 fours, 2 sixes. But they particularly took apart KG Rabada and Othniel Batman. And I have to question the game plan at that stage of the match. We were been talking about death bowling a lot recently, particularly Batman. But I want to question the decision for us bowling Yorkers at that stage. I think that on this wicket, when we still had 4 overs to go in the game, 3 overs to go in the game, you need to utilize the wicket. What made it very difficult today was balls with the pace off, back of the length, bowl it into the wicket with the pace off. Let the wicket do the talking. And because the wicket was a little bit slow and it was difficult to bat and hit boundaries, majority of the boundaries hit were full tosses. I mean, Batman's over was terrible, and we have to be honest about that. Um, 4 full tosses and all smack to the boundary. KJ Rabada similarly did the same thing. Full tosses. Yes, he got a wicket of a full toss, but still, full tosses that we didn't need. We didn't need to search for those Yorkers. I feel at that stage of the match, when the pitch is doing something and it's working for you, bowl it into the wicket, take the pace off. And I think that's where we went wrong in that game, in this game, and we could have lost it at that stage of the match, because they were 61 for 4, and then when Livingston lost his wicket, they were 139 for 5 after 17.2. And then Harry Brook lost his wicket in the final over, thanks to Nokia, and they won 150 at that stage. So a very, very good second over, as a penultimate over from Marco Jansen, because he did exactly what we needed him to do. He bowled it into the wicket rather than searching for Yorkers unnecessarily. Under Nokia, great at the death to win us this game. It is so great to see players perform under pressure with the ball in these crucial crunch matches. We haven't seen this from South Africa in a very, very long time. We've been complaining about our death bowling for a while, and I'm really very happy the fact that we have more than one player that has been able to do the job at the death, whether it be the penultimate over or it's the final over. So that's really, really great to see, that we don't only have to rely on one player, i.e., Utnil Bartman, to bowl our death overs. We can also pass on the responsibility to Marco Jansen or to the likes of Andrik Nokia. That is a great asset to have, um, and that's something that we need to talk about. Other than that, I think the only other negative that I want to maybe raise is um, we need to see something with the batting lineup, a little bit more consistency. We would like to obviously see a little bit more consistency from this. And those are certain things that I think that we need to maybe consider. But overall positivity from my end. I think it was a great performance. That catch from Maiden Markram, by the way, under pressure, when we needed to take a wicket at that stage, I felt that was absolutely brilliant under pressure to take such a difficult catch. If your captain's doing things like that, that's obviously extremely, extremely, extremely positive. But overall, I think everybody did really well. I think the only bad stage in this match, really, with the ball, was those 2 overs from Bartman and KG. Other than that, the rest of the game, they bowled really well. Ultimately, as a team, everybody bowled as a unit, and I think that was brilliant from all of them. They just lost their plans in those 2 overs. I think they tried to force the death bowling aspect when they didn't really need to. I think they just needed to bowl it into the wicket, as I said. Guys, subscribe to the channel. Please click that notification bell if you've just joined us, and also smash that like button. Really important that you do so. So we're going to get into our first caller of the night. I don't know how many people are going to call in tonight. The link is on the top of the live chat. We've got Safaraz with us. Welcome to the show, bro. You've got about
Thank you.
you got about take it away.
Actually, I'm from India. Actually, I've been watching some of the matches, and I've always been my second favorite team has always been South Africa. I've been following South Africa's performance in today's match. Actually, when it came to the first innings, South Africa, they could have at least done better, but still, Quinton de Kock and Miller kind of saved it. From Clarkson, it was kind of shocking. He was actually looking like he was just trolling. He was not serious about getting back to his crease. And Riza Hendricks, I know it's a very unpopular opinion, but I think so. He should be replaced. I know he will not be replaced in middle of such a crucial matches, but still, Ryan Rickelton should be given a chance. Bowling wise, great performance. They did a very solid job of restricting us, England, except for Bartman. I don't know what happened to him. I think so, Khalid. You have been watching that game. Bartman suddenly, started bowling three full tosses. I don't know what was his plan or what was going on in his mind. It kind of, it kind of was about to cost South Africa the game. But yeah, but still, Rabada and Nokia kind of saved it. I know Bartman has been bowling pretty well throughout this tournament, so I think so. This is a one-time thing. I hope that Rob Walter may have some kind of talk with him about this thing. And but overall, I think so. Great bowling performance. With that, I can really say that South Africa has really, made their statement as a real contender for this T20 World Cup. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Safaraz, for coming on the show. I'm just going to talk about the points that you made right now, but thank you for calling in and having your say. We're going to try to keep the calls shorter tonight. We're going to I'll give you about 5 minutes to talk, and then I'll rebut and talk about it. Let's talk about Bartman quickly. I just want to have a quick talk about that particular performance. I think it's good what happened to him today. It's the first time he's been put into a situation like this in a World Cup. Pressure is a lot, and it must be pressure that he didn't hit his Yorkers. But I also do think that the plan to decide to bowl Yorkers at that stage, I think, was incorrect. I think with those amount of overs, I think go for your Yorkers if you have a cushion. Especially we had a massive cushion before those two overs from KG and from Bartman. Bowling into the wicket with the pace off, it was the most dangerous deliveries that South Africa faced towards the end of their innings, and I think that same approach should have been taken from a South African standpoint. One or two Yorkers, but not every single delivery, especially when the batters are going to expect you to do that. But that's just my opinion on that matter. But I think Batman will be better because of this. He's now faced that situation, and I think that now he'll know what that nerves feel like, and that situation would feel like. And I think that knowing what that feels like and getting over the line is brilliant. So from a South African standpoint, and you'll be better for the next one. Let me get the next caller on. Lorenzo, welcome to the show, bro. You've got 5 minutes. Have your say. What do you think about this game, and how are you feeling now after this victory?
Hi, good evening, Khalid. Yeah, I'm happy. I think it was a bit of a humdinger there at the end. Let's start with the batting. I think we started off well. I think the first 3 overs we were a bit circumspect, but that's understandable as we come from. Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, I can hear you brilliantly.
Yeah, sorry, man, because we come from New York, where it didn't go so well in terms of our batting, and the services didn't allow it. So I could understand what Nessa was saying there, that we might take our time up front, and luckily we did, and I'm happy with that, because if we lost, we saw what happened with England. They lost 2 quick wickets, or 1 quick wicket in the power play. Should have been two, and then it went pear shaped for them up front. So yeah, I'm happy with our batting performance. I wouldn't say ecstatic, because I think from the position we got ourselves in after the power play, I thought we left 15, 10 to 15 runs too short. I think we should have gotten to 180. Um, I think that's the only negative from a batting point of view. And then I want to speak a little bit about Riza Hendricks as well as Tristan Stubbs. I think today we could just see that Riza Hendricks is, unfortunately, I love Riza, but you could just see today he is out of form, right? Because up front you could see Coney was doing mad things, and he was just standing there. He couldn't even get the ball out of the square. Um, and even Owen Morgan said it as well. Like, what is his plan here? Because he can't keep just knocking the ball around for one or twos. Um, and then so I feel he should be dropped. I know the last show I said he won't be dropped. I think he should be dropped for Rickleton for against the West Indies. Um, we basically through to the semi-finals, so I'll drop him for the next game. As for Stubbs, Khalid, I'm a big Stubbs fan, but he's been very underwhelming for me in this tournament. I know he's a young guy, right, and all of that. As I said on the last show as well, but I think he should take more responsibility, man, because you can see he just tries too hard. He just wants to smack the ball too hard, and it doesn't come off. And mind you, right? I don't even think that is his game, just to come in and smack the ball. I think South Africa should bet him at 4, because he's the type of guy that comes in, takes his time, and then launches at the end. He can't come in and just smack the ball from ball one. So that is what are my take on Tristan Stubbs, and I think I see it on social media as well. We should stop overhyping our players too much. We saw it with Dewald Brevis. What is Brevis doing now? Right? You see what I mean? He's not even near a call up for South Africa because we overhyped him too much, and now we're looking scratching our heads like, how is this guy the next baby AB? But he's producing nothing. We shouldn't do the same with Stubbs. I think we should let Stubbs be. We shouldn't overhype him. I think we can't drop him because there's no better on the bench like him that can take his place, and I won't drop him also. But just moving forward, I just think we should bet him a little bit higher up the order, so that he can take his time and launch at the end.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I agree with you 100% on Stubbs' position, batting position. I've said it plenty of times that he should bat at 4. Klaasen 5, Miller 6. I think Miller is more equipped to adapt his game than Stubbs is right now in these situations. And for me, Rickleton, I almost feel like in those situations where we are, perhaps you have a point there with the fact that we nearly in the semifinals, basically, right? Depends on what happens, obviously, in the rest of the games, etc. I mean, if USA can beat West Indies, that will make it even more, give us even more a case to be able to play a guy like Rickleton. But then what do we do if Rickleton doesn't perform? Because then we're sitting with the same situation, 2 batters out of form. Because Rickleton hasn't been in form before this tournament. You're going to throw him into a situation in a World Cup where the pressure is going to be extremely, extremely high on him to perform. And if he doesn't perform, then you're sitting with 2 batters out of form. So then what do we do in that situation? Do we just bring Riza in again and switch it back?
yeah, but you see, I just feel these are professional cricketers. These are professional sportsmen. They, if it's we shouldn't look at it at the point of what if he doesn't perform, because what if he does perform, right? So that's how I look at it. Because Rickleton is sitting there in the bench. He maybe just only wanted one game to showcase what he can do. You understand what I mean? So it's a 50-50, yes. But I understand what you say. What if he doesn't perform? And let's go that route. If he doesn't perform in the next game, then the coach must sit with the 2 batters, and then the coach must plan and say, okay, and that will be very harsh as well. And they only give him the one game, right? So, so I don't know how
Yeah,
that conversation
exactly.
will go. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know
It's the
how that
same
will go.
situation with. It's the same situation I have feel like with the coach saying, for example, because I saw a lot of fans also calling for Quinton de Kock's head, before by the end of the
I
group
was one of
stages.
them.
Yeah, and then so the coach sits there and he's like, should I give Rickleton a chance, who's a keeper batter? It could have been an option, or do I give Quinton de Kock another go and then he can score some runs? And once he gets runs, he's gonna kick on, and
But
that's what
but you know
happened
the
now.
thing.
So the same
But you
thing
know
with
the other.
Riza. Like what if Riza does perform in the next match?
Yeah.
Then
No, no.
and then he
But
kicks, and we know that if he does, he generally kicks on and scores multiple 50s in a row then afterwards by
yes,
his
but
history.
but then we also know about Riza is that when he's out of form, it goes on a run of not scoring runs. You understand? Similar to when he's in form, he goes on a run where he scores 50, 50, 50, 40, 30. Good run. But when he's out of form, he goes also on a run where he doesn't score any runs in 5, 6, 7 games. So that's also the other scenario.
Which is
So
on
that's why
currently
it's
actually.
exactly, which is on
So
currently in this tournament, like on
it
that
has to
run.
end.
So
It has to end at some point, doesn't it?
yeah, it does. It does to have in some, but moving on from that, right? We're gonna, just my last point. We're gonna sit again with another scenario where are we gonna play those 2 spinners? Because today, I'm sorry, we should have played the 2 spinners. You see, Khalid, today was screaming out to play the 2 spinners because you couldn't see what England were doing in that middle period where they just shut up shop with their spin and we couldn't get out. I think if Shamsi played today, I think the win would have been more comfortable if you get what I mean. But so moving forward, so that's why I say that this is where the coach needs to pick up his balls and makes ballsy decisions. Because I always say this, Khalid, we're not here to hold hands. We're here to win a damn World Cup. So if we have to go to KG Rabada and say, look here, KG, you're not going to play today. We're going to play Semzi and we're going to play Maharaj. Then KG must be able to take it because it's for the team. Bartman, I wouldn't drop Bartman because he went for runs today. But that doesn't mean he's not for me. He's still our best death bowler because he showed it in the tournament, and even in leagues in South Africa, he showed it that he is our best death bowler we have in the country. So I wouldn't drop him. And once again, it's just not only his death bowling, it's what he gives you up front because the 2 overs he bowled up front also contributed to us winning the game because he got a wicket in his first over and only went for 3 runs, and in the second over he bowled well as well. So for me, ah, I don't know. The coaches have to make huge decisions in terms
It's a
of our personnel because I can tell you now, Khalid, we're gonna have to play 2 spinners. We can't only play 1 spinner because that will be dangerous.
Yeah, it's a difficult decision there because I would say at the moment KG actually has done pretty decently this World Cup for us, especially in the last 2 games. So like the coach has a difficult decision because I'm a big Bartman fan as well, and I think that he also needs to be the first. I've always said he needs to be the first player on the team sheet. He struggled under pressure today a bit, and that is bound to happen at some point. He can't be perfect every single bloody match. So we also need to understand that as a fan base as well, that players are going to tip a little bit here and there in certain games. But we have a situation where Rabada and Otniel almost had the same game today, almost. Um, Basically, almost exactly the same game. They
Yeah,
both bowled well up top, and then they both bowled badly at the death with the
at
same
the death.
plan.
Yeah,
And I think the problem there was less their performance and more the plan. I don't think that the bowling Yorkers at that stage of the match was a good decision from whoever made that decision, the captain and the coaches, whoever decided to do that or make those decisions. I think that was the mistake here,
you know, you,
because if they bowled into the pitch pace off, which both of the players can do really well, I feel, especially Batman. I think they would
you
have
know
gotten
what
a lot more out of that
you know
than
what
what they.
you know what I think happened is because I don't think it was Markham's fault. I think he set up a field for the bowlers to bowl the ball into the wicket with pace off. Even you can even bowl the ball into the wicket with pace on because the wicket is too pace. They still struggle, right? And
Mm.
I think Markham, the field placing was for that. I just think Bartman as well as Kagiso Rabada, I just thought they just had brain farts and just thought, no, I'm gonna bowl Yorkers. I'm gonna try and bowl Yorkers. I think that wasn't them. I don't think because the field wasn't set for Yorkers. It was, and Bartman didn't even bowl Yorkers. He just bowled full tosses,
Yeah,
four
no,
full
that's my
tosses.
point. They went for,
Yeah,
but the strange thing is that they went for Yorker, missed their length, right? And then they went to the boundary. Then they went again, went to the boundary, and then they tried it again and again. That's my concern here. It's like, wait a minute, I'm not hitting my the Yorker is the hardest ball to bowl in this game. We know that it's the most difficult ball to hit consecutively in any match, and they kept on going for that rather than, I think, at that stage of a match when you still have overs in the bag. I think you don't need to go to that Yorker yet, especially if the wicket is difficult to bat on, and you can just put it into ball length balls with the pace off, which I think they should have gone with. Lorenzo, your final thoughts, please, man.
yeah. Our final thoughts is just happy with the win. I'm ecstatic. I was a bit vexed here, though. I was I was going mad
Me
because
too.
at one stage it was going very comfortable. And it just
Yeah.
I think it was the 15th over, 16th over when Bart. It was even before that. I think it was the over before Bartman ball. I think KG bowled it over that went for runs.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
Bartman bowled in straight off, and he also went for runs. And I think there I saw. But you know what I'm proud of most is just how we keep our bottle because we all know, me and you both know, we watched this team for a long time, or the pro cricket
Yeah.
for a long time, that we all know in crunch games, it's all good doing good and well doing it in group games where even if you lose, you can still go through. But this is
Mm.
the type of games where when the chips is down, you must come out on top to show your bottle, and that will leave you in good stead going into the tournament to the semi-finals and maybe a final, hopefully a final. So I think, as I said last stream, we are the most and once again it was a close game today. So for me, we are the most prepared team to play that big games. But I just hope we're not using all our luck in the wrong games, and then we get to a semifinals and then we get absolutely blitzed. So yeah, just all unhappy, just proud of the full performance today, and up the Proteas. You go, boys.
That's crazy. Every single game, bar the USA game, went right down to the wire, and we ended up victors. So crazy that we could do that consecutively. Lorenzo, thanks a lot for
Cheers,
coming on the
cheers.
show and calling in. I'll talk to you again very soon. Thank you for your comments. Brilliant comments over there from Lorenzo once again. I see Navneet here at the back, but your device is not connected for some reason. So if you want to try and call in again, maybe, um, then I'll bring you on the show. I'm just going to kick you from the studio quickly because I think you need to connect your device. So let me just get into some of the live chats and what you guys have had to say over here in the live chat. Please subscribe and smash the like button, please. Very important that you guys do so right away. Um, why is Rickleton for Stubbs not a convo? Riza has a track record. I've spoken about it already. I don't think that Rickleton for Stubbs. Um, I mean, I don't see why. My point on Stubbs here is I don't think Stubbs has done that badly in this tournament as the stats make it look. There's been a lot of difficult situations he's come into the game. Yeah, they also have been using him as a floater, which I don't really appreciate. I think they should play him at 4 and keep him at 4, and that's where he should play. Yes, okay. Match situations have dictated the fact that you want a left-hander to come into the situation, but he's come in towards the end of games, majority of the matches, and like I've said before, he's not necessarily a a big hitter at the end, and it was a difficult pitch to come in and score immediately. All of the pitches that we played on, in fact, has been difficult pitches for us to come in and score runs immediately. So I'm not too bothered about Stubbs, to be honest with you. I think that his game in this World Cup will come, and I think we should stick with him. I think to give Rickleton a chance right now, at this stage, I think it should have happened early in the tournament. If we wanted to explore that option, then I think it needed to be earlier in the tournament and not right now when we need to win every single game. I think they need to go with their best 11 that they feel is their best 11 for the rest of the match, particularly in the batting department, because I feel batters, it's a bit different for batters than I feel for bowlers. I mean, so far, Tristan, he might not have hit like 50s and half centuries, etc. But he's contributed 33 against the Netherlands, 27 not out against Nepal, 20 not out against USA, and 12 not out again today. Coming into difficult scenarios within the game to do so. I think if you're going to talk about Rickleton, then the conversation should be between him and Riza. But I feel that Riza, like you said, there has a track record, and it's the same. For me, it's the same risk. It's like, what if Rickleton performs, but what if Riza performs? That both can, and I think that the coach currently backs his senior players. And when Riza does, when Riza is out of form, which he is currently, he does look bad. But when he's in form, he looks brilliant. And I think these wickets that we're playing on at the moment, I think it's a perfect opportunity for maybe Riza to get his eye in. In pressure situations, based on Riza's track record in knockout games for domestic teams that he's played for, and in pressure situations in previous games for South Africa, I just feel that he has that extra experience counts in this particular situation. I don't think Rickleton has played enough for the Proteas to warrant that he must start as well. In a World Cup, I'm talking about. They should have been giving Rickleton loads of opportunities at international level prior to this tournament, I feel. Okay, we've got Navneet in the back end. Welcome to the show, bro. You can have your say. What would you like to say?
Hi Khalid, I'm from India. I really like your show. My question is,
Thank you.
I really like your shows. It's always a pleasure to talk with you because I have joined one call. It is some network issue. I have one question, Khalid. Do you think KG Rawada deserve the place in South Africa T20 team?
I think if we talked about this before this tournament, I would have said he would be the one to drop out of the bowlers that we currently have. That would have been the conversation that I had at the beginning of this tournament. He was the bowler that was doing the least for us with regards to wicket taking, etc. But as the tournament's gone on, KG's gotten better and better. Now, bar today's game and that over that he bowled, um, th- these experience has helped us out quite a bit. I feel at the top and in the middle overs. But for me, out of the bowlers in this team, like I said in the last match, if we drop a bowler for a second spinner, for example, because that's the only time I feel that we drop KG is if we're going to play a second spinner. Um, I just think that he has the experience that he has is on these wickets are going to be crucial to us, especially as we go deeper into this tournament. I think that experience you can't really buy. It's so important. But if we're gonna drop a bowler for a second spinner, I would drop KG because of what Batman offers as a whole, as a package at the death, etc. Now, yes, Batman didn't win for runs today, but that doesn't take away everything that he's done in this tournament up until now. It's one poor performance from two different players, from two players, one experienced player and obviously one guy that's new in the situation. So
Khalid, I have one more question. Do you think Tristan Stubbs deserve a place because he doesn't perform in international cricket for South Africa? He only scores, I think, 72 against England 2022, but after that, he doesn't score too many runs. He performs outstanding in IPL 2024. So, do you think Tristan Stubbs is not good for international cricket?
okay, so let me answer that. There's I think we need to look at things a little bit more in depth when it comes to talking about players and their positions in teams, etc., and whether they deserve to be there or not. Tristan Stubbs is a young player, and for me personally, one of the most talented batters that South Africa has with regards to his all-round game. But I've always said it that Tristan Stubbs is not a finisher. He's not a number six type of batter comes in and then scores runs immediately off his first overs or first couple of balls. That's not his position, in my opinion. I think he's a lot more talented than that. I think four is perfect for him. And the problem here is that South Africa haven't given him enough chances in that position at four. He's come in at six a hell of a lot of times. But when South Africa have given him a chance to bat at four, he's done decently. He hasn't actually disappointed that much. And he hasn't done that badly given the scenarios that he's come into and given the wickets that he's been playing on in this tournament. We saw his talent in during the IPL. But then again, those wickets were great for batters. So we've had difficult pitches, and everybody has struggled until this moment, until these last two games. Really, everybody's really struggled except maybe David Miller. Um, Klaasen has been okay, but really only David Miller, I would say, up until until the Super 8 games. So I think we need to give Tristan Stubbs a little bit more opportunities at four. And then we can start judging him and saying whether he deserves to be there or not. He's come into situations where it has been tricky and he's done his job, I would say, to an extent. For me, he's not a type of guy that comes in and just smacks from ball one.
Khalid, one more question. Do you think South Africa tail is too long, and do you think Tabrez Shamsi is not good enough for international cricket because he balls two half trackers and drag downs, and the good players of spin can smash him anywhere, like what we saw in the USA game.
Okay, that's two questions. Okay. With regards to Shamsi, um, Shams is a type of bowler. I feel that it's always going to be a risk. Risk spinners are bowlers that if they get it slightly wrong, they travel. That's just generally speaking how it is. So it's always going to be one of those X factor situations where sometimes you are going to perform well and sometimes you are not, and you're going to have some difficult games. I don't think that the last game we needed a second spinner. I think that we needed to play the same 11 that we had over here. I think that the spinners that were actually um, getting punished quite a bit in the game. And for me, from a South African perspective, both Keshav and the Braves struggled the last game. But the game before that, the Braves was excellent. So he's gonna have those type of games. He's an X factor type of bowler that can have brilliant games. And in T20 cricket, it's always going to be that way. Unless the wickets are spinner, 100% spinner friendly. Um, so I do think the Braves is good for T20 cricket and for South Africa. But I think we need to use him correctly in the right matches under the right conditions and utilize him like that. Bring him in to certain games as a surprise factor. I think that works. Um, Playing every single game, I don't think so. He's not a type of player that I think bowls really well on wickets that don't really um, suit his style of bowling, which is okay, I guess, because we do have Keshav Maharaj there to do so. What was that first question that you had?
Khalid, do you think South Africa tail is too long? Because
Oh, the tail.
after Marco Jansen, we don't have any better. Like you saw in English team that they bat at number 9, 10, so they
Yeah,
can go harder from ball one because they know that they have the guys at number 9, 10 to smash the ball everywhere.
yeah. I definitely agree with you. I wish we had players that could bat until 9, 10. I'm not happy with Keshav's mentality when he comes out to the crease. I think he tries too hard to smack the ball and be the hero rather than trying to rotate the strike and give it to his opposition batter that is probably better at the crease than him. And I think Marco Jansen's type of batting style is a swing and hope, a swing and hit type of batter. Yeah, with the balls coming onto the bat quite well, he tends to do really well and then swing and connect. So he's not like a type of batter that I feel, will do what you'd want a deep batting lineup to do when you are a couple of wickets down and you need your bat number 7 to come in and actually win you a game. That's tough for me. So I do think our tail's a bit long, but I feel there's nothing really we can do about it at this moment in time because we don't really have any all rounders in our squad currently, and there aren't many all rounders in South African cricket that have consistently performed in the situations that we need them to perform in those scenarios. So we South Africa has an all rounder issue at the moment that we are trying to solve. Last season, I think a lot of new all-rounders have come through the system that have impressed, and I think that we'll get better as the time goes along with regards to producing that. But I do think our tail is a bit long, but we have to do what we have at the moment, I guess.
Khalid, where do you live in South Africa?
Yes, I do, in Cape Town.
Thanks for your time, Khalid. Always nice to talk with you.
Thank you for the call in and the questions, Navneet. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the support, guys. Smash the like button for Navneet and great questions that he asked today on the show. I think I really enjoyed them, and they were really awesome questions, I feel. So let me just get into the final couple of comments in the comment section over here. Some of the final ones before I see you guys. Diana says we must remember that Vian is also there, not even in the World Cup team. Sanjay says I switched off as well after 16th over. Then was delighted to see SA winning. Hit the back till the end, bro. Jade says, Yasas, just leave Vian on the sub. Laugh out loud. Amit says, before today's game, I was thinking on slower surface, Fortain should replace Janssen so that all three, Rabada, Nokia, Bartman, can play, as Janssen won't do much with the bat with old ball on slower surface. He did brilliantly with the ball today. He was crucial in that penultimate over today. So seems to be the right decision in hindsight. Mrs. Khalid, don't count in all the spinners. Shamsi is nowhere close to Rashid Khan, Adil Rashid. Chahal, Zampa. Just accept that Shamsi is not a good spinner. He can't perform unless the pitch is too slow. All of those spinners that you mentioned also have bad days too. Um, and you can't find yourself. You see, South Africa have this problem of not being able to read conditions um, to perfection every single game. Um, they play Shamsi a hell of a lot of times when situations don't suit it. Sometimes we have to play him out of. We have to forcefully play him because we have no other option than to do so. Um, to me, I love having Shamsi in the squad, and I think that in the right matches, he can do brilliantly for you. Like he's proved in this tournament so far. Only one, he had a terrible game the last game, but I don't think he should have played even in that last game. Tiano says we must go with the same 11 because why West Indies going to come for us with a 11 all-rounder at number 3 spot should be Vian Mulder. I think Vian has a lot to do still to prove himself that he's ready for the international stage. Riza and Batman can surely bounce back. They have quality, Rob and Go. Please motivate them, please. I agree that they can bounce back. Um, Will we replace Riza with Rickleton for next match? Khalid, what's your opinion? Riza is struggling with the bat. His confidence is low. I've spoken about that earlier on the show. I've said that we should still stick with Riza. I feel that he'll come around and do well. Um, uh, Navneet says, Khalid, bro, do you think we have good responders apart from Shamsi? I think we're still in the process of finding that next spinner. Ngaba Peter at the moment is that person that we've identified. You saw him against the West Indies. He was pretty decent in a couple of games. But I think that we still have to find more. There's not a lot of them that are being produced. Prices. When is our next test out of T20 Cup? We are not far away from Test cricket. We're going to I'm sorry. We still are very far away from Test cricket. We're going to get a series at the end of the year, two test match series against Sri Lanka and Pakistan. I think it is at the end of the year. So Test cricket's only going to happen at the end of the year, unfortunately. So we're going to have to wait until then. Our home summer is going to be packed. But anyway, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to subscribe, click that notification bell for future videos, and smash that like button, please. It's very important that you do so. I would like to see 50 likes on this video, please, minimum. If you guys can help me do that, it would be absolutely great. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We will be back again with another video. I think we're gonna do one after. I don't think I'll do a preview because it's on Sunday already, early hours of the morning. So we'll do a review show after the West Indies game, which is going to be a great one to witness. But thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace out, everyone.